Okay, uh, so in the morning class, I was using that as an opportunity to have a different kind of a participation because I want to get as many different types as I can, and so I'd ask for students to share problems. So uh, I've extended that into this class, so as many as I can get from folks. All right, let's see what you got, Chantel. Okay, this involves probability, and then they want us to calculate odds. Both of those things are hand in hand. They're really very closely interlocked. You can't have one without the other. All right. So let's read this. If we draw a random card from a standard deck of 52 cards, what are the odds of drawing an ace or a nine? All right. So it helps. I've got it in my notes that so the way the cards work, you got there's four suits: club, spade, heart, diamond. Two of those, the heart and the diamond, are red. The two black ones are spade and club. And in each one of those suits has an ace, so there's four aces, four twos, four threes, and so forth, all the way up to 10. So up to this point, we got 10 cards times four, so we got 40 cards. And now we've got the face cards. They don't have 11, 12, and 13. In place of 11, 12, and 13, they have Jack, Queen, and King, all repeated. Three for the clubs, three for the spade, three for the heart, and three for the diamonds. So that's what we're dealing with here. Now, what was the probability, Brandy, that they asked for?
I heard my name, but I didn't hear the question.
Oh, yeah. What was the. Oh, I'm sorry. It wasn't your Brandy. It was Chantel, wasn't it? Your problem. What was the probability? I'm
Yes.
sorry. What was the number they're looking for? It was a queen or something?
Is it
6?
nine?
Oh, 6 or 9? That's what they're asking for, right?
Ace or nine.
Yes, ace of nine.
Oh, ace. Okay. Uh, probability of ace or 9. I'm trying to make it nice and formal. Ace plus the probability of a 9. And if they are not mutually exclusive, then we subtract these out. Otherwise, there will be none. All right. So first of all, there's 52 cards. See that? 52 cards. All right. So how many aces are there? 1, 2, 3, 4. So the probability of ace 4 over not 13, 52. Plus. So how many nines are there? Same amount, 4. Now let's go back over there. How many are black and an ace? That one? I'm sorry. How many are both? I don't know what went in the wrong direction. It's not. It's ace or 9. Are there any cards that are both aces and 9s? The 9s are here, and the aces over here. Are there any that have both 9 and ace on them?
I can't, no, I don't see it.
Yeah. Let me see if I can get a better one. See if this is a little better. There we go. So here's the aces, and here's the 9. Are there any that cross? In other words, are there any cards in there that are both aces and 9s? We're just trying to find out if these are mutually exclusive. There's no way for a card to be both an ace and a 9. It could be red and a 9. It could be black and a 9. It could be a heart and an ace, but there's no way it can be an ace and a 9 at the same time. There's none of those. So, mutually exclusive. So then this right here is 0. There are 0 because there are none that are both ace and 9. If they had mentioned the suit or the color and one of the aces or the 9s, then yeah, they're going to cross. But these are mutually exclusive. All of the numbers and the king, queen, and jack are all mutually exclusive with one another. But where they link up was with the suits. So then this is all right. And they ask for different ones. Sometimes they'll say simplified fractions, which is what that is. And let's say we want to round it off to 4 decimal, because sometimes they'll say round it, sometimes they'll say simplified fraction. So that's 4 decimal places. So does that help with that one, or you still have some particular question about it?
It helped, thank you.
Because probably the hardest part is the mutual exclusive thing. Because at first, I don't know, I had in my head that it was a color or a suit and a 9. So what about you, Brandy? What do you got to share with us? What are you working on? Like I said, if you just jump into your the first assignment up there, start clicking, see what you come up with. Or you got questions about this?
I have questions about it all.
Well, like I said, jump on your thing and just get to the first thing you run into.
Right. So I'm currently on the first one, and it's explaining to me about the odds ratio, the risk ratio.
Oh, okay.
Um,
So that's actually a good one to ask her because it's a bit confusing.
I am
Why don't we
very
pick an odds ratio one?
okay. Let's see.
Because we did a risk ratio in the morning. And they're both essentially the same thing. There's just one difference.
How do you screenshot? I don't even know how to do that.
Oh, what are you on? A Mac? You're on, I don't know.
Yeah, I'm on a Mac.
So yeah. I don't
Type
know how
in
to do it on
search
the Mac.
screenshot. You see a little search magnifying glass? Just type in screenshot. And it'll automatically pull up the camera.
A little app. Like on Windows, it's like a little pair of
Oh, I see
scissors.
what you're talking about. Okay.
I'm sorry. Professor Cruz, can we go back just a little bit? Slow? 1 second. I'm sorry,
Yeah,
Brandy.
you're fine. I'm gonna figure out how to screenshot first.
Okay.
Okay, what was it?
I didn't come up with you got. Professor Cruz. Let's see.
Okay, you came up with 2.11?
Yes. Let me see something.
Okay. Well, this one, as far as I can tell, unless somebody sees a problem with it, this is right. That one, we would know that it's wrong because the probability can never be greater than 1. If we ever have a probability that's greater than 1, then there's likely a mistake in the calculation.
Okay, because the homework is
So what
saying
did
that
you?
it's wrong.
So how did you try to go about it?
Hold
Were
on.
you right on the probabilities?
I think she said that the homework is saying that that answer is wrong. Right?
Well,
Yes,
let me go
that's
back
what
and
I was
read the
trying to say.
problem.
The homework. Yeah.
Let me go back and read the problem. Oh, okay, that's right. We didn't finish it. Okay, so we got to now do the odds. Okay, thank you.
Thank you.
All right. So we want to have the odds, but the reason why I stopped there, like I said, I forgot that we were doing odds. I did the probability, but we need the probability. You got to have one or the other to get the other one. So then what other number do we need? Okay. Well, if we got the probability of 8 or 9, we have to have the probability of not 8 or 9. So we don't really need this part. You can use it, but that's the round off. So this is the probability. So we need to have the probability of not 8 or 9. All right. So how do we get that? Well, that's that same old complement rule, but we're going to take out a little shortcut. 2 from 13 is 11. And then we keep that same denominator. Because probabilities are going to share the same denominator, the probability and its complement. All right. Now, this part right here, the probability of success of getting that is our A. And this right here is our B.
So the
So
total.
now it wants us to have what? Odds of drawing. And so that's odds of success. So that's A to B. So our A is 2. To 11. I thought you had 2.11, so that's why I was confused. That's why it threw me off. Yeah. So it's 2 to 11. That's the odds. And if it said odds against, it's 11 to 2. So they're just mirror images.
Okay, thanks.
Oh yeah. Yeah. So it's relative risk. Let's see if we can get this right. It's a hard problem to set up. Or I don't say it's hard. It's just you gotta pay attention the first time you're actually doing one of these in order to learn it properly. Because in theory, there's 4 different ways to do it. Set it up. So doctors are testing a new antidepressant. A group of patients all with a similar characteristics take part in the study. Some of the patients received the new drug, while others receive a traditional drug. During the study, a number of patients complained about insomnia. The data are shown in the contingency table below. What is the relative risk of insomnia for those who receive the new drug? All right. All right. So here's the ones we're looking at is insomnia. We're looking at insomnia. All right. So new drug versus old drug. How many new drug people? The probability of the number of new drug people that had insomnia. And then this is another fraction. We'll just put divided by. Traditional drug. All right. This is the part I want to make sure I got the denominator for this one correctly. So 52 over 88 is the probability of the insomnia people on the new drug. 52 over the total number of people who had insomnia. And we're comparing that against the traditional drug people who had insomnia. Do we want that one?
That's
Or do
where
we use
I
this one?
think it's
I
across.
think it's got to be this one.
I thought it would be 52 over 278.
This is where I get lost too, even with the
Oh,
probability.
new drug. But it's new drug versus traditional drug, right? So those are the right numerators, right?
Received the traditional drug, correct.
All right. So the probability of new drug people with insomnia is 52/88. And the probability of people on the traditional drug insomnia is 36/331. I'm
Then
pretty
why
sure
wouldn't
that's
you
the way
do-
that they.
Why wouldn't you do insomnia for the traditional drug over the total
Well,
31?
I'm not 100% sure I understand exactly why yet,
Okay, no, wait.
but on the ones that we did this morning, that's the denominator they used. They used the one from the bottom and the one from the.
I don't know.
Because it's really not that. Let's see. Let me go back and read it again. So a group of patients, all with similar characteristics, take part in the study. Some of the patients receive the new drug, while others receive the traditional drug. During the study, a number of patients complained about insomnia. The data shown in the contention table below, what is the relative risk of insomnia for those who receive the new drug? So the way to do that is to compare the new drug to the conditional drug. So the 52 over the total 88 tells us the percentage of new drug people who had insomnia. Now this one, like I said, is I remember on the one that we did earlier, they didn't both use the same denominator. And that was the mistake that I had made when I first started doing this. So on this one, they always went to the one on the side. And so what that amounts to is that's the number of traditional drug people with insomnia. Because you're comparing traditional drug people with insomnia to new drug people with insomnia. So
But since you're doing traditional drug and then that's total 36 over 331, why wouldn't you do the same thing for the new drug 52 over 278?
How was that? I was
just
thinking,
because of the pattern on that one that you brought this morning, I don't know
Yeah,
the answer yet.
Yeah, that's
That's the
what
way they did it. Now maybe I'm wrong and they should be both flip flop, but let's go ahead and work it out.
Okay.
and I seen two of the same
Pop it in.
on the probability one where they flipped it, and I was like, "Whoa!" Because I could remember that they did it one way, and then the next way they
Okay.
did it another way, and I got confused on okay.
Well,
one
that's
way-
it. But there is a pattern here. But there's four things you got to worry about. The other one is the odds ratio. It's a very similar process, and that is because you're actually using odds in your comparison. And then this one, the relative risks, is the comparison of the probabilities.
Ooh, this one might get me.
Well, that's what it is, because you got to understand the difference between odds and probability. Do you understand that? Because that's what I was doing on that one before. We can go through another one of those if you
Ooh.
want.
Um,
Just because once you understand that, picking that right number, then because what you're doing, like for this, if you would an odds ratio, you're taking and you're comparing new drug. So you're comparing these two together. You would put 52 to 36, or depending on what you wanted, and then compare that to like two of these. You're not using the totals, and that's what I was talking about earlier with odds and probability. With probability, the reason why we go to the total is because you want all of the possibles there, that big number in the denominator. And that's what assures, because we have the larger number in the denominator, that the probability is always a fraction between a 0 and 1. It's never more than 1. But with odds, you're just making a ratio between the numbers of win and lose, not the total.
so the parts.
That's why the odds ratio.
Total, not part to total.
What's that?
With odds, it's part to part, not part to total.
Exactly. Exactly.
Okay. That'd be easy
Uh,
for me to remember.
so that solves one of the big mysteries. Like I said, I went through this yesterday and went through and did that whole Newton path thing. And that was the first thing that I figured out. I said, "Oh, it's odds," because it looked like to me they were doing the exact same calculations. Sometimes they would do this, and sometimes they would do that. But sometimes that they were doing this and that is one times they were doing odds, and other times doing probability. And I wasn't seeing that they mentioned that they had two different names for them. You know, odds risk and relative risk. So
So
there's
how
two
do
different ones, but the procedure is the same in the end. It's always the division, but for the odds, it's the parts to parts one. And with that, like I said, is generally that's what we usually write. This one is A to B or B to A. You can write it as a fraction because it's essentially the same thing. But with odds, you can have a larger number on top, essentially, if you get a fraction. So that's why I always write them like that, so don't mix them up. And then, of course, with probability, it's always, a fraction. It can be one if it was the same on the top and bottom. All right, so who else is in here? Okay, we just got a handful.
So basically the
Justice, go
pattern I
ahead.
picked up on, the last variable they mentioned, you want to use their total. I don't know if that makes sense. But if you go back
Right.
to the question, yeah, that's the pattern I picked up on. So that's why I go across with the drug, because
The
that's
one they mentioned last, right?
yeah. And so if
So
you
it's
were
new
talking,
drug.
you mentioned an insomnia last, you would use insomnia, no esophagus totals.
Thank
Yeah, we
you.
compare
That's a good
new
tip.
drug to
That's a
traditional
good
drug.
tip. But did we get to the answer or did we just find out how to?
Oh, well, what happened to it? Let me
No,
recreate it. I thought it was okay, new drug.
So we got 52 over 88 divided by 36 over 331.
Yeah, in other words, this is a complex fraction divided by. So that's why I wrote it as divide, with that old division sign.
and see, I used 278. So can you check that answer?
You used 278?
So they mentioned the drugs
For-
last, so I used new drug, like that horizontal total. 52
Oh, I see what you're saying. I
over
just thought I
270.
remembered the pattern was they used one here and over here.
52.
Just try, Brandy, you still got the question open. You can see.
Yeah,
that.
I'm gonna try it.
All right.
2
And then I
over
said 36.
78.
So mine is the other way to do it, right? Or we're switching streams.
No, it says
Whereas
not.
what you're saying is use the same one for both denominators. I'm saying you use the same for numerators.
No, I'm not using
let's
the
try.
same one. I'm doing 52 over 278 and then 36 over 331.
Well, saying as you're using the row total, yeah. Oh, and I can do it over here, so you don't have to do it by hand.
Yeah, I got it.
Is it right?
Yeah, the 52 over
Alright.
78 divided by 36 over 331 got me 1.7198. And that's what
So
I
you're
got.
saying it's 278,
Yes, sir.
not 88. Okay, so that's so let me see if I got the pattern right. So we're comparing, we got the new drug with insomnia people using all of the people on the new drug. Okay, yeah. So we're comparing here and here. I just thought for sure on that one we did this morning that the pattern was they
Yeah,
switched streams and
so
went down
it
here.
was just
Okay,
that,
so
it was the
that
press
makes
and not the
sense.
press that it was basing it off of, so we used the
Right.
vertical
Okay.
totals for that.
That's where I get so confused. But now that I
All
hear
right,
you
but that's
say
it.
that, I'm
Now,
happy that I think I'll get it from now on.
but now just let me just mention this while we're got it fresh in our mind. The odds risk does the same thing. It's just that you're comparing the odds. So I think for the new drug, so it's going to be 52. And then they got the old. I think you're just doing 226 here, but I'm not 100% sure. I got to go back and check it out. And then over here, the old. It's not old, the traditional, yeah. So what you're doing here is you're comparing insomnia to no insomnia on the new drug and insomnia to insomnia for the traditional drug. So you're not using the totals here. When you got relative risk, you use the totals. But if you wanted to make it less confusing, this is what I would do. I know you can't do this because you're reading on the screen, but just block out the totals then. If it's odds risk, you can just block those out.
Yeah,
You can just block that out. Whereas if it's relative risk, then we could have blocked all these out. And that kind of makes the choice, I guess you would say it narrows down the choices of what to focus on. Especially with me, like I said, a visual learner, because if I got too much stuff on the screen, I'll jumble it out. All right. So, I was going to go back over here. So as I had said, is we got a little bit more time for this next one because this is generally, in my opinion, the hardest material in the class. Now, the last section, the statistics, is basically what you call number crunching, and you're using formulas. So you're just like stuffing things out and getting an answer out. And half the battle is just make sure you don't round too early. But the one thing that I'm a little bit concerned about is just what else has Newton got in there. One of the things that they gave me for their statistics book was like weighted averages. I took that out, but there's still a bunch of them in there because, in my opinion, that thing should be the shortest chapter. But anyway, because we wedged that little material before midterm, so now we got a little bit of breathing room. And so this is today. On Monday, we'll just have another. I guess what I'm going to put on here is bring problem to share with teacher. We'll do this again. And then come Tuesday, we'll just have like the review like we had for the last two tests. We just can start going through any problems we want, like the review and what, and then test on Wednesday. I'm sorry, a test on Wednesday, and then Thursday is July 4th. No class. That's 1 week. All right.
Mhm.
So,
Don't
anybody else that
forget,
got one?
don't forget Monday. I have a very
We could
important
do another
procedure.
relative risk and probability one. We've not been tortured enough. I think now, like I said, I think you threw the final key in there that I was getting a little bit turned on, Tori, about the what you're comparing. Let's see, was there any more in the chat?
Mr. Cruz, I have
Mhm.
a doctor's appointment at 1:40. So I'm gonna
Okay.
leave. I don't mean to be rude or anything like that. I just
Oh, no, that's all right.
telling them what I
So just
answered,
remember,
they keep putting me in.
remember Monday, bring in a problem, kind of share like we did today, and if you, for some reason you can't be, just shoot it to me in email or something,
Okay, I'll be here for Monday for
Okay.
sure.
I know. I just for anybody
Just
else,
in case.
because
Right.
Yeah, Monday. I'm remember I was telling you about the procedure that I have to
right,
go
yeah, I
take
know
with
you
my
can do that.
doctors.
What
I'm gonna
you
be
can
out
do
of
is
it.
just
Yeah.
find a problem, like when you get a chance, as you're working
Okay.
on your homework, send it to me, all right?
I sure will.
So I can give you credit for you on Monday.
Okay. Thank
Prayers
you.
for a speedy recovery, Chantel.
Yeah.
I appreciate that. Thank you.
Yeah, same.
Thank you, Tori.
And thank you so much, Mr. Cruz, for explaining everything to me. I appreciate it. And Tori.
All right. Well,
No problem.
you're
Yes.
welcome.
Yes, Tori.
That's
You're
kind of
greatly
what I'm supposed to
appreciated.
do.
Thank you.
But I really appreciate being able to help students in a real way, because I said is one of the things about teaching, is presenting information. But I really think that you got to at some point get down into the trenches where the students are at and work with the problems that they're dealing with. All right, what else is in there? If you're all right, Justice, yeah.
I just sent one. It's just what are the
About the
odds?
songs.
Yeah, it's just yeah.
Okay.
I figured
All right. Bye bye. Have a good weekend. Okay. All right. All right. So John has a music list containing 32 songs. There are 5 country songs, 7 rock, 9 classical, 8 jazz, and 3 rap. What are the odds that a song is not selected at random? Well, anytime you want to have odds, you got to have probability. So if you ask for odds, you got to have probability. And if you're not it's not giving it to you. If it's not giving it to you directly, then you need to find it within the context of what they're asking about. So what we've got is 32 songs. And then and we want asking about rock songs. So there's 7. So 7 over 32 probability rock. All right. We also need the probability, the complement. Probability of not right. So how do we find this? 7 from 32 would give us 25.
Yeah.
And how do we know that? Because when we have an event and its complement, then the numerators have to add up to the denominator. Okay. You use the formal complement rule, like I said, where you 1 minus 7 over 32 is, and go through and create a common denominator and all that, or you can just 7 the numerator from denominator. What's left over gives you the numerator for the complement using the same denominator. So this right here is A, and this is B. This is what we call probability of success, the probability that we do pick a rock song. And then this 25, the numerator of the probability we don't pick a rock song is B. There's two kinds of odds. Odds for A to B, odds against B to A. So in this case, what was it asked for? Was it odds for?
Odds that it not rock.
So not rock. So it's a not rock.
So B to A, right?
So we want that one. Voila. Okay.
Good job. Thanks.
Was that the only one up in the chat box?
I got one of those, let's see. Playing craps, places a bet. I think it's expected value one. I mean, it'll be long, but
All right. Well, share
right.
it.
Okay.
We got time for at least one more. All right. Janelle is playing craps and places $5 bet on the number 8 with a probability of winning at 5 over 36. However, the probability of losing is 1/6. And it happens if a 7 is rolled. Any other number rolled means Janelle doesn't win or lose the game, doesn't win or lose, so nothing. If an 8 is rolled, Janelle will win $6 and keep the initial bet. But if a 7 is rolled, Janelle loses $5. Was this is from that Newton?
Yeah, the odds and expectations
I
one.
didn't remember that one.
I know I can't
I guess you don't necessarily get them all if you.
right. I guess
don't
it
think you
keeps on
see-
regenerating as long as I keep on getting them wrong, and it just gives me different ones.
There's always a certain amount in the queue. You eventually get the same ones again. But I don't remember this one.
this
Well,
is
we just
another one
take it
where
one
it's like keep the initial bet. So do I
Yeah, so
$10?
just remind me about what I decided last time about it. That's the part I gotta get straight. Okay. All right. So this right here would be 8, 7, and that's the only 2 winners, right?
That's win and lose, and then it's 0 if any other number comes up.
Oh, 7 is the loser. Yeah. So there's only 2 things, and then they give us the probability. So it's 536. This has got me worried a bit. Let me see. What am I? I'm thinking this is wrong. It should be 5, 6.
Yeah, I
Did,
just
did
don't
you
know
did you
crap.
try answering it and it didn't work? You got the wrong answer.
Well, I only got one the wrong answer once, so I don't know the explanation yet.
Okay, I think there's a mistake. I think that's supposed to be 6. Well, I don't say think.
Because
There's
the
no other choice
36,
because they got a win and lose has got to add up to.
right? Because
They're going to add up to 1.
I was trying to get the same denominator or whatever, and it was just coming up with crazy answers. So
Well, let's try this and see if it works. Now, so $5 bet. So for the lose, what do you lose?
oh wait, hold on. Craps is 2 dice, right? Is that what that is? That means 6 times. I mean, yeah, 6 times 6. You know what I'm saying?
Oh, okay. You know what? You know what? You know what? I know what I think I know what's going on. Okay. I understand what's going on now. This is the 1/6 in the skies. Okay. So now, anything else?
It was simplified. Okay.
Yeah, but like I said, I like to keep them unsimplified because they make the math easier.
Yeah.
But that's 1/6 with the common denominator 6. Multiply the numerator by 6. So, and the only other choice is so this is lose, and this is win, and then this is nothing. So this would be 25/6. Now we're not going to really need to do that. I mean, because with 0 times that is going to be 0. It doesn't really add anything, but it is there. And now over here, let's say you win $6. So does that make sense?
Yeah. I wasn't sure if it was 6 or do I do 11?
No, because
Okay.
the $5 is yours.
Right. Okay.
So now this is going to be 30.
So it's
This
30
is-
minus 30.
So this is X times PX is what this is, probability of X. So 6 times 5 is 30 over 36 because this is over 1. And then this is negative 30. So this is going to be a break-even game. And then,
So
of course, this is 0. So then this 30 minus 30. And 0 over anything is just 0. So this is a break-even game, a fair game, they call it.
okay, yeah, that worked.
It worked?
Yeah.
All right. I love it when you get an answer right.
Yeah.
But yeah, that was why I thought that it was wrong because we did find one issue already, so I don't trust him 100%. So, but yeah, because all the other numbers on there, which is so I guess though, what it is, there's five different eights. I guess that's what it is. What was it? That's sum of dice. So it was 8. See, there's the 5 right there. And then the other one was 7. So see, there's more of those
Yeah. But it's just
because
like
the
you never know. Like, what if I didn't know what craps was, you know?
well, it didn't really matter in that concept.
Okay.
I mean, as long as you realize you're doing the dice, yeah. I don't know what. I mean, I know it's a dice game, but I don't understand it.
I don't
But it
understand.
is based upon that, like they call that snake eyes, and I think 1111 is box cars. They got names for them.
Right. As
But
long
yeah,
as the probabilities are right, then you should get the right answer. Yeah.
if you just look at the probability, it doesn't matter about the rest. It's like I said, then these are the losers. So it's a break-even game because what was it? It was $6 versus $5. Is that what it was?
Lose 5, 6 is the win.
Yeah. So then 6 times 5 or 5 times 6, they both give you the same amount. So that's why. Because then there's 6 of these, and since it's $5 loss, that's a neat problem. I like that because, like I said, it comes up break even. But yeah, it does help to know this. But they did tell you what the probability was. But I don't know. I was confused by it. But they just I forgot about the part with all those that don't matter. And maybe that's the way craps works. I don't know.
I think I'm about all out.
Well,
I just got to finish going through the problems
yeah.
in that homework odds and
Well, like I
expectations.
said, we got a little bit more time in here, and like I said, y'all had a good trek up the mountain here, and I'm glad y'all kept up, and we get a little bit of rest, but it's still some loops to come. And like I said, but we have plenty of time for helping with individual problems and reviewing next week. So I think y'all will be all right. Another thing is too, I got this, I think this is, I don't know if this is the best time for it, but I got that little take home. If anybody, if we want to do that earlier, we can.
Okay.
That is the test to go with the material that we didn't have enough time for before midterm. And so I like to get 5 tests in, and that one will be just like where you can do it anytime within a 2 or 3 day period. And then that way it's late enough in the term so that it refreshes your memory for that, for the exam. Let's see.
Did you just make the take-home test available?
Well, I wasn't going to do it till after we finish this next test, since this one is usually the harder material, and
Okay.
then afterwards, uh, sometime if you want to do it. I mean, I didn't want to, particularly didn't assign it during the holiday break, you know, because sometimes people actually want to have a long weekend. So, but if you want it, I'll do that out for you. But the reason why I wanted to do it later is so that it'll remember that that stuff is in the final exam.
Okay, thanks.
But just concentrate on this one first, because this one is generally the hard.
I was reading about the final exam. Um, is I'm reading this
What's that?
correct? Like I was reading about the final exam. The time looked like
What
it's three
about it?
thirty to 5 o'clock in the evening.
Yeah, if I get the, you know, the, what do you call it? The honor lock set up correctly, so you know, not have what happened last time. It kind of crashed it towards the end. I got most of the students tested, and it just decided not to cooperate. So I'm hoping that it's going to work this time. I'm going to start it earlier in the day, and it'll end at 5:30. During the summer, they have crazy times for exams. It's a college-wide schedule, so technically, that's our time to test. And it all these times are what they call, you know, that's the college-wide exam schedule. And the reason why they do have to have a schedule is because of rooms. Now with us, we got more flexibility. So, like I said, I wish it wasn't so late in the day, but that's probably what I'll, since that's official time, I'll probably just end it at that time. But if I can't get the honor lock to work and have to do it on the Zoom thing, then I'll have to do it at 3:30 to 5:30. But my first priority is to try to make sure the honor lock is working, and I'm fairly confident it will. It's just that the Wiley people, the people that handle Newton, they didn't know what was going on about why it was crashing. So I think it was something that's like honor lock is not sending something, and it had something to do with the extension I put on it. So all right,
Okay.
what else do people want to get into? It's about the end of class time. So if you got another short problem,
Point. But I did,
okay, great.
but I did -2 times A plus B.
Yeah, yes, it is. There's always many different paths to get to the same answer. Yeah. All right. Well, next week is a short week. But like I said, just bring your questions because I don't have anything else to show you. Now, when I did this, this problem that got to me, I was really frustrated because, I was just assuming that you could do most of everything in it without algebra. But like I said, they, showed it with the two different. There's really the only way I know how to do it is you do it with two variables. That's why I just only did that one with the one variable. And thankfully, they didn't have that many of those. Oh, I am beat this week.
Yeah, but what I did was whenever I got it wrong, I just kept on going through the explanation, and I couldn't get it to where how they figured it out, but I figured it out. I broke it down even further because they were going to, I don't know,
Yeah,
fast.
like I said, it is. However you need it, like I said, it is. Oh, and I remember before class ended, there was somebody like as soon as I hit end, I heard somebody, "Hey, Mr. Cruz," and I forgot to
I
check
think
and
it
see
was
who that was.
that was Brandy.
Well, I guess she talked to me about what she needed.
Yeah, probably so. I think it's probably about her appointment.
Yeah. All right, so bright-eyed and bushy-tailed on Monday.
Okay, sounds good. See y'all then.
Start getting that nailed down.
Okay. Have a good
Bye-bye.
weekend.
Bye, y'all too.
Bye-bye.